Hi guys, I hope that you're all safe and well. It's Mitch here. I'm just coming on to do a little one of my cheeky rambling waffle videos because I haven't done one of those for a little while. Sorry, this collar is really annoying me today. I don't normally have sort of like tight-chested collars like this, and I like it to pop like this. So it's like really annoying me. Oh dear. Anyway. So, one of the questions that lots of you guys have been talking to me about or asking me is, well, there's two parts to it really. First of all, how do we as humans grieve, and what does spirit want from us? So, I think that's quite an interesting sort of two-part sort of piece to look at, really. So, I wanted to talk about it with you and see if we can sort of make a bit of sense of it all, really. And I think this is one of the probably one of the hardest parts of being human, I think, is to allow ourselves permission to grieve. Because often when we lose people very dear to us, if you think of like schoolings and things like this, no one has usually ever understood or talked to us about grief. You know, we learn all these subject matters in school, um, which have their place, don't get me wrong, but it's like very often we're not actually taught to understand about certain aspects of life experience. And I think grief is something that really should come into the curriculum. I mean, I know it's been a while since I was at school and they might include something in it now. I don't know. But I think it's really, really important because essentially, what I find in readings is a lot of people don't know how to grieve. A lot of people don't know how to give themselves permission to have that experience. And I think one of the most important things that spirit tell me is they want us to have life beyond grief. So grief is really, really important. It's obviously our healing process, it's our healing journey. But from what I have conversation wise with spirit, they really want us to be able to have life beyond the grief. And I think that that's what we've got to learn to give ourselves permission for. The other thing I would say is it doesn't matter how spiritually awoke or enlightened you are, as a human sort of race, we all grieve and we all hurt and we all feel pain, we all feel loss and we all feel sorrow. And it's really, really important that we give ourselves permission to have those experiences. We almost need to have those experiences. So if you are watching this video at the moment and if you are struggling, if you are suffering, know that it's okay to have that. You're allowed to have that experience. And you might not want it. I understand that. But we have to go through that cycle. We have to go through that energy to come out the other side. So we all grieve in our own personal and unique way. And, you know, it's often said to me loads of times actually, oh, well, you're a medium, you can link with the other side. So why should you grieve, or why is your grief more important than anybody else's? And, you know, it doesn't matter how, like I say, how evolved we are spiritually, mediums, just as much as healers and everybody else, we're entitled to grieve. You know, we need to have that physical human side. And it's remembering we've all come back, we've all ascended into this space and time. So we've all come back to have physical types of realities, physical types of experiences. And grief is part of that. For whatever reason, our spirit, our higher consciousness wants us to feel, to understand, and to receive that peace, that pocket, that cycle. We all have to go through that, you know. But what spirits say to me very often is they want us to be able to have life beyond grief. And there's this real common, or there's this real misconception with spiritualism that, oh, it's fine, our loved ones in spirit are fine, they're jolly, they're safe, they're having a ball. And they might be having some of those aspects and some of those things. But much as we miss our loved ones, they still miss us so, so much. And yes, sometimes they can see, sometimes they can hear, and sometimes they can interact with us, but it's never the same as having that physical contact, that physical content. And I think it doesn't matter if you're still in this world or if you've transitioned to the world of spirit, you're still mourning, you're still grieving, you're still in that place of loss and uncertainty. And it's remembering that it works for both of us, you know. It's not just the people that we lose to spirit, it's also those in the spirit world. They do feel that loss, they do feel that pain, they do feel that as well. But the best gift we can ever give our loved ones is to live. And the common theme, or the message I get often, is they want us to have accessibility, they want us to have life beyond the grief. And sometimes that's really mega scary, sometimes that's very hard, because sometimes people like lose somebody so dear to them that they don't give themselves permission, they don't give themselves that acceptance to go on to have that. Essentially, you know, for some people they never reach that because they just do not give themselves that accessibility. But when your loved ones check in on you, they don't want to see you in floods of tears, they don't want to see you slashing your wrists, they don't want to see you in a place where you feel suicidal. They don't want to see you drinking yourself to death. They don't want to see you taking pills in order to get through a day or to survive. They want to see you thriving. They want to see you honoring their memory, their essence, and actually taking back control of your life and having fun, giving yourself accessibility to a new version, a new way of life. Because let's face it, it's never going to be the same as it once was. How can it be? But it doesn't mean that what follows has to be negative or restrictive or bad. Spirit want us to go on to have these best things the same way your loved ones wanted you to have the best experiences in life. So when people say to me, you know, all my loved ones wouldn't want me to be doing this or that, a lot of it's bullshit, I have to say, because in life, would your loved ones have held you back? And in some cases, depending on what connection you held with a person, maybe there is aspects of that for some of you. But for the bulk of people that have lost somebody, it's never going to be about punishment or self-isolation or restriction. As is in life, your loved ones would have wanted the utmost for you. They would have wanted the best for you. So just because they've gone into that next realm, that other world, why would they not still want that for you? And this is what I struggle with a little bit when I do readings, because people's programming gets so messy, it gets so conflicted, and it gets so confusing. And it's because they're just consumed in this suppression. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about is what happens when we don't give ourselves permission to grieve. I do obviously quite a lot of healing for people, as you know, or some of you may know. And what I see a lot is when people are struggling, their health is in a really, really bad way. And it's not so much because they've got something physically wrong with them, although often they may go down that road of thinking that. It's because they've got all this pent up, trapped up grief and it hasn't gone anywhere. They haven't given themselves permission to heal, they haven't given themselves that sort of acceptance to shed, to rid that energy. And so what tends to happen is it gets stuck somewhere because, you know, energy is like a flow process. It flows in, out, and around us. And if we don't shed it, if we don't clear it, if we don't let it go, it gets stuck, it gets trapped in the body. So very often when I talk to people that are suffering with grief, the knees are actually known for holding trauma. They're known for holding types of grief and emotions. So a lot of people have issues with their legs or particularly their knees. You see it as well often when people are struggling to grieve, that they may have severe stomach issues. They may feel they've got like an IBS or something of that nature going on. But usually, what's actually happening is it's stuck energy. And because it's stuck, it can't go anywhere. So it starts to cause physical problems. It sort of sometimes causes the upset stomach. Sometimes people have bowel issues. And, you know, sometimes things are sort of triggered because they've not essentially released, cleared and cleansed that energy. And if you think of the stomach area, that's right in your solar plexus. So the solar plexus, that's where we hold on to anything of an emotional energy line. So it's where we feel, it's where we get a lot of our intuitive sort of stuff. So it's a place that we feel things very deeply in there. So if you're not giving yourself permission to grieve and to heal, it's going to get trapped and that's going to cause problems further on down the road. And again, your loved ones, you know, looking in, they're not going to be wanting to see that. They're not going to be wanting to sort of see you stuck, struggling, physically hurting because you've not been able to grieve. Now, grief is very kind of personal. It's a personal journey for all of us. For some people, the way that they grieve is they shout, they scream, they smash things up, they rid the energy that way. For some people, they have tears, and there may be a few tears, there may be lots of tears. For other people, they journal, they write things down. I know that there's one lady that I've been working with a lot over the last year that's coming full circle in her grieving process. And she's each day written a letter to her loved ones with different things that have happened, different events that have been going on, different emotions, different feelings and cycles she's going through. And each day she words it as a letter to heaven. And that's been really, really helping her. And I've seen her from the start of her journey, where she didn't think she was going to survive and get through this world, to where she is now. And she's becoming a new version of herself. And she's knowing that her loved ones in spirit want her to continue. They want her to go on to access this new lifestyle, this new way of living. It's not about being better than what she had before or taking anything else away. It's a different version of happiness. It's a new version of happiness. It's the next chapter of her personal storybook of life. And for whatever reason, she's still here. She has that beautiful air in her lungs. She has that opportunity to live. So it's like spirit are wanting her to live. So this is why I say the best gift we can give our loved ones is to have fun, to have laughter, to go on holiday, to do all these great things we want to do. If there's something you want to experience, but you're thinking, oh, I'm not sure if I should do that, what would my loved one think of me? More so ask yourself, what would they have been asking or saying to you in the physical world? And if they were saying go for it, go after it, why would that be any different? All they are is in a slightly different realm or room. When people talk about the spirit world being this far away place, it's not. you know they are no more. It's usually said with spiritualism that a loved one in spirit is no more than sort of 3 inches away from us, because the spirit world intertwines and overlaps with our own physical world. I've used the analogy quite a few times in the past. It's almost like this world is a piece of paper and the spirit world is like a piece of tracing paper. The two collide and mix very often. So it's really, really important that we can keep going, that we can keep living for them in honor of your loved ones, because that also in return keeps them going. It keeps them smiling. And they've often got jobs to do as well. Like I say, people think, oh, that's it, their journey's over, they're at peace, it's the end of their story. Very often their story's only just begun. And it's so often said, isn't it, that death is literally not the end, it's just the beginning. And I firmly believe that, because some of the interactions, some of the evidence and the pieces that spirit give me, it's quite sort of surprising in a good way. And it's quite shocking, some of what they tell me and what they get up to. And they're continuing to live because they know there's no other choice. But I suppose with the flip side of that, they've been reconnected with loved ones that have gone before. So they're reconnected with people they have not seen for a time. So whilst they're missing us, obviously like crazy, they've gone on to reconnect with people they may have not seen for a little while. So it's a little bit of a bittersweet pill, isn't it? And this is often why in life us as humans feel like, oh, they've got the easier journey, and maybe in some ways but not in others. But I know that spirits say that love and that hole, that void, is still felt their end much as it's felt this end. So I just thought it was really, really important to come on and do this video today. I've wanted to do it for a while, but I've just not had time. And for today, it just felt like the right time to talk about this, really. So it's so important, like I say, that we allow ourselves permission to grieve, to heal, to process, and in whatever way we need to. And I can't ever tell any of you guys how to do that, because it takes and interferes too much with our own free will. So I would never tell you what you should or shouldn't be doing, but it's finding a way that works for you. It's finding something that you can focus on and a way forward. That's more the important part. Don't give up, don't surrender, don't drink yourself into oblivion and all these things, because like I say, your loved ones want you to sort of move forward with your life, and laughter is always the best medicine to bring spirit world in. Whenever I conduct a reading, people say to me, what's the best way I can receive a message from a loved one? And to be honest, it's laughter, because laughter is such a high vibration. It's what connects, it's what brings our loved ones forward. So the more at peace and playful and open you can be, the more love that can be shown, essentially, the more love that can come in. And I read a really good thing the other day, and it was all about sort of, we go through all this stuff in life, we get all this materialism, but actually, all we're reviewed on when we transition is the size of our heart and what we chose to do, the good we chose to do as people. Everything else is crap, isn't it? It's rubbish. It doesn't matter how big your house was, it doesn't matter how fast your car was, it doesn't matter if you had the best clothes on and everything else. All that materialism is crap. It maybe holds a point in this life, but it serves no purpose in the next, and we're not judged on that. We're literally judged by the size of our heart and what we chose to do and how we chose to respond and be as people whilst we're here on earth. That's literally all it comes down to. So I just wanted to share this little video with you. So maybe some of you are thinking, oh God, what a load of waffle. And that's fine. I'm not saying you have to embrace this video. It's just something I wanted to share with you guys. But a lot of people have been talking to me. How do they let go? How do they make peace? And the other thing is, a lot of people are saying to me, they feel that if they let go and if they move forward with their life, they're almost letting that person down. But you're not. You're never letting that person down, because they want you to be at peace, they want you to be happy. The journey of life is complicated enough on a good day, isn't it? Let's face it. So your loved ones, they don't want to block you, they don't want to hinder you, they want you to do what you need to do to exist, to live, but not just to exist, to really thrive, to really have the best experience of what life can be, because our loved ones in spirit know life can still be amazing, but sometimes grief destroys and overshadows all the magic that this world can still offer. And it's finding a way to sort of lift back that curtain and think, do you know what? Yes, I am grieving. We'll probably always be grieving, because grief is lifelong. But at some point, we are allowed to live again. So the video really is that there is allowed to be life beyond grief. That's really my message for you guys. So I hope you can make sense of this. I'm going to leave this little waffle with you. Stay safe, stay well, stay fabulous. And there'll be more little sort of waffle videos coming as and when I get time. So I'm going to leave it with you. And love and blessings. Bye for now.